Instead of throwing it away, water your hydrangeas with it. They'll bloom until fall, with beautiful flowers and a plant that gets bigger every year. What's often treated as waste can become valuable fertilizer for hydrangeas. It helps them grow and bloom by providing essential minerals. Phosphorus supports blooming and root development. Potassium enhances flower cluster development and stimulates new shoots. Magnesium is crucial for photosynthesis and also affects root growth. Without it, the plant weakens and the leaves turn yellow. Nitrogen supports the growth of both the underground and above-ground parts of the plant and ensures proper leaf coloration. To prepare this fertilizer, all you need are coffee grounds. Instead of pouring them down the sink or into the compost, pour them around the flowers. That's it. This will ensure lush hydrangea blooms that will catch the eyes of all your neighbors. Water hydrangeas with this solution, and they will grow like crazy and stop getting sick. You can even save very weak flowers. I'll show you an amazing way to prepare a homemade fertilizer for them. You only need a few ingredients. Take a pitcher in which you'll prepare the mixture. First, pour 100 milliliters of milk into it. Then add 100 milliliters of a golden beverage. Pour in the same amount of vinegar. After that, add 300 milliliters of water to the pitcher. Now, in a smaller pitcher, dissolve 5 tablespoons of brown sugar in 100 milliliters of hot water. Pour the sugar water into the large pitcher and mix it well. After it cools down, use this fertilizer to water the hydrangeas. This treatment provides the plants with essential nutrients and creates a protective barrier against pests. The flowers will look beautiful and healthy. This fertilizer is also very beneficial for ferns and monsteras. Sprinkle a handful over the orchid. This fertilizer will make it bloom abundantly. You can have beautifully flowering orchids at home if you provide them with the right supplements. I'll show you how to feed orchids. With this fertilizer, they will produce many new buds, be healthy and robust. New flower stems will appear, even on old stems. You'll learn 2 methods that I use to fertilize orchids with one product. Here's the first method. Pour about a cup of rice into a pan and turn on the stove. Heat it in a dry pan for about 3 minutes. It should be lightly toasted but not burned. When it cools a bit, transfer the rice to a blender. Grind the rice grains. Transfer the rice flour to a jar. You can store it this way and take the right amount for orchid fertilization. I take a tablespoon of ground rice and pour it into a bowl. Then, I pour boiling water over it, mix and leave it to cool. During this time, the water will absorb many minerals from the rice. You can also use ground rice with cold water. Pour water into a glass with a teaspoon of ground rice. Leave it for some time to let the water absorb the most valuable elements from the rice. You can water orchids with this water. Thanks to this fertilizer, the orchid strengthens. You can give at least 5 tablespoons to each pot. It's enough to do this once a month. The second method is traditional, using raw rice. Pour water over the rice and let it stand. You can use warm or cold water in this method. In the case of cold water, always leave the rice in the water for a longer time. Use this fertilizer regularly, especially when orchids have flower buds. This way, you'll have beautiful flowers. I spread this on the ground around the hydrangeas. The flowers begin to shimmer with colors. More than that, they bloom longer and keep their intense color. If you are wondering why the hydrangea does not bloom, then try this trick. You literally only need a handful to nourish the flowers. We are talking about a handful of ordinary coffee grounds. They help maintain the proper acidity of the soil. Just sprinkle them around the hydrangea bush. You can also mix them with the soil and mound the plant. Coffee grounds enrich the soil with minerals. The grounds help keep the soil moist. This feature will come in handy during a heat wave. This flower is sensitive to lack of water. Deficiencies lead to rapid drying of leaves and its inflorescences. Above that, a sizable amount of grounds can affect the soil pH. If you want your flower to turn blue, regularly sprinkle the soil around it with grounds. Its heads will begin to shimmer with color. This is a natural trick to get an ombre effect. Hydrangeas can also be watered with coffee fertilizer. Add a cup of grounds to 5 liters of water. Wait until they swell and then water the plant with them. This is an ideal way to water acid-loving plants. I add this to water and water my geraniums with it. They grow faster and immediately produce lots of new buds. The flowers are large and have a beautiful vivid color. All you need is a large bottle. Pour 1.5 liters of regular water or rainwater into it. Next, you'll need some lager beer. Add a few teaspoons of this liquid gold to the bottle. Use natural or organic beer without additives or preservatives, as these can be harmful. The beverage of the gods contains yeast, sugars, and carbohydrates, which can serve as a quick source of energy for soil microorganisms. Yeast contains potassium, phosphorus, and magnesium, exactly what flowering plants like geraniums need. You'll see that this water will further strengthen your geraniums. Remember, geraniums don't like too much water, so water them in moderation. This water with a bit of lager is perfect for geraniums. In a short time, they will reward you with beautiful flowers. Especially during hot weather, mineral-rich water from the liquid gold will be very beneficial for geraniums. This natural fertilizer makes my flowers grow like crazy. It contains everything flowers need. I can use it on any plant in the house. My plants have finally stopped getting sick, and their roots have strengthened. The flowers are beautiful and healthy. Thanks to this fertilizer, potted plants have large green leaves. It increases the number of buds and shoots in flowering plants. This homemade mixture contains all the essential elements: potassium, phosphorus, calcium, silicon, zinc, and others. To prepare it, you'll need rice and either a blender or a coffee grinder. Start by making rice flour from the rice. Meanwhile, get a jar ready. Put a teaspoon of rice flour into the jar. Add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Heat 500 milliliters of water. Pour the hot water over the mixture in the jar. Close the jar and let it sit for 3 days. After this time, strain the mixture through a fine sieve. Dilute it. Add 500 milliliters of water for every 100 milliliters of fertilizer. You can save the rest of the jar's contents for later use. Now, water your plants with this mixture and wait for the results. Geraniums will bloom like never before, covering your entire balcony or terrace. This simple fertilizer costs nothing and eliminates the need for expensive commercial fertilizers. This liquid is completely free and rich in the essential nutrients for healthy plant growth. It contains nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, and trace elements that support plant development. It's perfect for watering geraniums, and you'll see amazing results in no time. This wonderful fertilizer is made from crushed onion peels. All you need are 2 handfuls of onion peels. Pour a liter of hot water over them. Let the mixture sit overnight. The next day, the fertilizer is ready to use. For watering geraniums, dilute the onion peel fertilizer with an additional liter of water. Your geraniums will reward you with beautiful flowers. For use as a spray, you can use the onion mixture without diluting it. Pour the fertilizer into a spray bottle. The onion extract acts as a natural pesticide. Its strong smell repels unwanted insects without harming the plants or the environment. It's excellent for protecting against aphids. Regular use guarantees complete protection.